MLK Day. We're going to start, Kevin, with the Spurs and the Blazers, all right? DeMar DeRozan with the ball in the post, spins and is stuffed at the rim by Derrick Jones Jr. Whoa! And then Aldridge getting the feed and Jones Jr. just coming out of nowhere. I mean, it's just so good. You have to see it again. Look at that! Goodness gracious. Oh, my goodness. Goodbye. Meanwhile, Dame Lillard is trailing Kobe Bryant by one three-pointer on the all-time three-pointers made list. And look at this, sizing up Rudy Gay and drills it. That's 1,828. Spurs, however, do go on to win this one, 125-104.
Hawks taking on the Timberwolves. Trae Young put it up and let him fly. That's John Collins for the easy two-handed field goal. Clint Capella, he had 23 points and 15 boards. Young in this one, 13 dimes, 20 points. And the Hawks, a game below 500, 6-7 after the W.
All right, and starting the day off at noon Eastern, it was the Knicks and the Magic, and Knicks up by double digits here. Elfrid Payton showing off the handles, finishes with a dunk. Look at this great move by Payton. Just throwing it down. He has 12 points in the game, and with the Knicks up by a dozen, Emmanuel quickly finds the cutting Obi Toppin, high-flying rookie. Boom. Knicks win 91-84. Under Tibbs, they go to 7-8. Everybody, great to be with you, partner.
Great to have you with us.
Yeah, conference championships are all set in the NFL. One huge question surrounding the defending Super Bowl champs is going to be there all week long and affect the entire picture.
Yeah, the health status of Patrick Mahomes is the biggest topic this week as the reigning Super Bowl MVP remains in the NFL's concussion protocol. It's a developing story we continue to follow here on SportsCenter. After taking a hit in the third quarter against the Browns, Mahomes staggered briefly as he came off the field. Eventually, he went to the locker room and was declared out for the rest of the game. Here's Andy Reid today on the optimism.
I just leave that with Rick and the docs, and because of the protocol, it's a no-brainer from the coach's standpoint. You don't have to think about it. You just have to go forward and make sure you have an answer if he's there, an answer if he's not there. I can't tell you from a medical standpoint where he's at. I mean, I don't know that. So that's their decision, and I just follow it.
They're so good with the weapons that they have around Patrick. Andy does such a good job. They're well coached. That we've got to prepare for the system. We've got to prepare for both quarterbacks, and that's why we've got a lot of work to do this week, Adam.
McDermott, part of that Andy Reid coaching tree in Philly. The NFL's head, neck, and spine committee developed a 5-stage protocol for returning to play, all supervised and reviewed by independent physicians. Here's stage 1, centered around rest with limited or no activity in order to minimize symptoms. Stage 2 focuses on light activity supervised by the team's medical staff. Then stage 3 involves getting back on the practice field. And stage 4 and 5 will involve more football activities for the player, like throwing, before one is fully cleared to play. NFL reporter Jeff Darlington joining us now from Kansas City with much more on this story. Jeff, what else have you learned about Mahomes' status today?
Well, Kevin, first of all, considering the fact that the Chiefs' superstar quarterback is in concussion protocol and questionable for this AFC Championship game, they're actually pretty calm here at the Chiefs facility, and I think that sort of plays into the mindset of Patrick Mahomes. I've spoken to people who know Mahomes, also people in the organization say he's in very good spirits. They even use the word precautionary when they talk about really what he's going through with this protocol. Now, you mentioned the 5 steps to get back onto the field. Right now, basically, he's just resting to make sure he gets back to that baseline spot. It ultimately doesn't matter, though, how Mahomes is feeling in terms of his spirits, but rather how the independent neurological examiner gauges whether he's ready. That's something we won't know until the end of the week. So for now, in Kansas City, the only thing we have is the high hopes of a team that wants to see him back on that field.
That is the key. Independent examiner will continue to follow this developing story as the Chiefs get ready to host their 3rd straight AFC Championship game. Jeff Darlington from Kansas City.
Meanwhile, the Nets and the Bucks highlighting the NBA slate on this MLK Day. Giannis and the Bucks have won 7 of their last 8, scoring nearly 118 points a game since the calendar flipped to 2021. They're one of only 4 teams to score 100 points in every game this season. And what can James Harden and KD do for an encore after their first game as teammates in over 8 years? Well, Saturday, Durant had a season-high 42. Harden became the first player in NBA history with a 30-point triple-double in his team debut. And Kyrie Irving will sit out his 7th straight game tonight, according to Adrian Wojnarowski, after leaving the Nets for personal reasons almost 2 weeks ago. Woj reports that Kyrie is trying to ramp up his conditioning before returning to game action. As Malika Andrews joins us now live from the Barclays Center with more. Malika, Kyrie, as we noted, he's already missed 7 games, and it's also worth noting he has forfeited more than $800,000 in salary for violating COVID protocols. When is he expected to rejoin the team?
Well, the hope, Steve Nash just said a couple of minutes ago, is that he is going to be able to rejoin the team in Cleveland on Wednesday, Hannah. Now, remember, the league allows for players who have been in quarantine, like Kyrie Irving was when he was found to have violated those health and safety protocols, to take a couple of days to get their legs back underneath them. Take a listen to what Steve Nash said about that with Kyrie Irving.
I think he just want him to ramp up accordingly to protect him from unnecessary injuries. So I think he got some work yesterday, possibly today. He'll get some work tomorrow, and then we'll go to Cleveland and hopefully he'll be available on Wednesday night. What you want to see is just him to get some time, like you said, in his legs, so that he's more able to adapt back to playing. You know, it's if you haven't played, you know, there's no way you can simulate it. So I think it's important that he gets a little bit extra work and is as prepared as possible to play Wednesday.
So this is a team that doesn't practice a whole lot because of their schedule. They have been playing games almost every other day consistently, but tomorrow they do have that window. They do have a practice on their schedule. What Steve Nash said is that they want to get Kyrie Irving in with their, quote, stay ready group. They don't want to run their stars a little bit too much. So even though he's expected to practice tomorrow, it probably won't be a full court press with James Harden and Kevin Durant. That won't come until he's actually playing in a game, Hannah.
And interesting that he could come back against his former team, Cleveland. All right, let's talk about these former teammates that you just mentioned, and it's a very small sample size, but Harden and Durant did combine for 70-plus points in their win over the Magic in their first game back together on Saturday. What is their focus tonight as they face a tougher opponent in Milwaukee?
Well, of course, they're looking at what it could be that they could improve. So while folks around the team are excited to see their point production, what James Harden and Kevin Durant were talking about immediately after the game is that they combined for 15 of the team's total 19 turnovers. Kevin Durant said that he's going to actually need to talk to his new teammate, about how they can improve on that end. Steve Nash joked that James Harden almost had a quadruple double because he had 9 of those combined 15 turnovers. But James Harden said that he's not worried about it. He was really focused in on his passing last game. He said it's going to come with time. It's going to come with chemistry. It's going to come with better reads, and that will happen as they're out on the court a little bit more together, Hannah.
And expectations even higher now for this team that hasn't advanced past the first round of the playoffs since 2014. Very interesting times there for the new head coach, Steve Nash. Thanks, Malika.
More SportsCenter headlines. This Monday, 2 head coach openings left in the NFL. Bucks defensive coordinator Todd Bowles is currently interviewing with the Eagles, sources telling Jeremy Fowler. And Chiefs offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy is interviewing with the Texans as we speak, sources telling Adam Schefter. Bucks head coach Bruce Arians acknowledging that Antonio Brown had an MRI on his knee today. This coming after yesterday's win. The results of that MRI have not